Hello, everyone, and welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys, joined once again this week by my co-host Gordon Chatterton, and we're going to talk a little college football. Gordon, how are we doing this week? You seem to be like kind of on a little bit of a high. How's it going?
I'll tell you what, it's been pretty good. Of course, you know, my team won the national championship last year. My pro team got Micah Parsons and has had probably the best defense in the NFL thus far. Got two guys that can't block one-on-one, so yeah, good game last night.
Yeah,
For me
and
anyways.
dominating performance last night and Sunday against the Lions. You have two of the top offensive teams last year, and Green Bay just completely shut them down. I mean, didn't completely shut them down, but I mean, they really couldn't do anything. That the score was closer than what the game actually was. That defense is humming, man.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Got
and if you got just a little bit of an offense to go with it, that's all you need, and Green Bay does.
I was quite happy with Mr. Kraft Cheese last night.
Yeah, he
Six
had a pretty
catches,
big
124
game.
yards. 6 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah,
one of them was 57 yards.
That's a big day. You lost Jaden Reed, though, but, I mean, did you really lose much, to be honest?
Experience in the gadget plays, yes, but as far as overall, not a whole lot.
Inconsistent, mostly, with him.
My biggest personal inconsistency is the guy that keeps getting targeted more than everybody else. Dontavian Wicks. He's Mr. Dropsies.
Oh, man. So I had a little parlay last night, and, like, he kept throwing to Wicks, and I'm like, stop throwing to Wicks. I need Kraft. Well, Kraft ended up getting his stuff, but for a while he just kept throwing to Wicks. I'm like, stop. I was like, nobody wants Wicks.
I had one parlay last night. If Matthew Golden could have got 30 yards, it would have hit. And the other one, if Terry McLaurin could have gotten the end zone, it would have hit.
Well, so the one I missed last night, I had Kraft for 3 catches, Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown, Samuel for 4 catches, Austin Eckler for 3. Well, Austin Eckler had 2 catches and tore his Achilles, so I should have had a ghost leg on that. Things would have been all right. Yeah, man.
I like the other services ought to provide that too.
They should. That would be great. They do.
It'd be great.
Like, bet protection if they get hurt in the first quarter, but a ghost leg would be nice.
Yeah, you can still win.
So the NFL's back. The Bengals, I've talked on here before. That second half, 7 yards total offense in the second half. Not good for an offensive, high-powered offense.
I count that most up to familiarity. They know the Bengals. Bengals know them. I'm actually more impressed with how their defense played in the second half.
Their defense played decent, but Cleveland also helped them out. The drop passes by Judy and Fannin. A missed extra point and a missed field goal also didn't hurt anything for the Bengals. So the Browns helped the Bengals out. But, man, you're paying all these guys on offense. I know it's divisional foe. The Browns are pretty much a bad matchup for the Bengals. I get that and everything. But 7 yards in the second half? Come on now.
Okay, now that's ultra pathetic.
Yeah.
If I had to make up a word for it.
Yeah, at least with all that talent and the way they're getting paid, at least get 50 yards in the second half. Like something. Come on.
No, it's almost like, can you push for 8?
Yeah. Can we get to double digits here, guys? Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah, but to be fair, Myles Garrett is almost unblockable.
Yeah, he was in Joe Burrow's grill all day Sunday, and I get that and everything. He's still Myles Garrett. I don't know if I'm Delpit, though, I don't know if I'm trash talking. It's easy to take down Derrick Henry because I think that may backfire on him Sunday. I don't know. He's already going to be mad about the fumble last week. I don't know if that's the hornet's nest you want to go to for.
No, that's like swatting at a bear with a stick.
Not the best idea.
No. He may end up being on SportsCenter for all the wrong reasons, getting stiff-armed and knocked 5 yards back.
And I could see Derrick Henry going to him on purpose just to do that. And I'd be here for it. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, and running him over.
Yeah. Oh, man. So we're going to get into our college football talk here. And Ohio State played last week. Kentucky played last week. So let's go ahead and let's just get it over with. Let's rip the Band-Aid off, Gordon. Let's go ahead and let's start talking a little Kentucky Ole Miss. Last Saturday in Lexington, the Kentucky Wildcats hosted the Ole Miss Rebels, and the weather was nice. That's about all you can say for the game there. Kentucky falls 30-23 against Ole Miss. Gordon, I know that you the same time that the Kentucky game was going on, the Ohio State game was going on. So you probably didn't catch a whole lot of it. But you've seen the highlights. You've heard me yelling through my phone to you through text messages.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on this Kentucky game against Ole Miss on Saturday?
I think Kentucky blew a chance to win the game. They kept it too close for too long, and didn't they have a lead for a little bit of the game?
They were ahead 10-0 in the first quarter.
It's almost like they forgot who they were playing. Because, I mean, I had game casting on ESPN on my phone. I've got the unlimited on my phone, but I was watching the Ohio State game, so I was just looking down every now and then. I had my other TV on. I was trying to keep an eyeball on it over there. But there's a lot of plays they missed on offense and defense. They had the plays there to win the game because their defense was doing enough to slow them down. So a few bad play calls on the offense, like run plays when they shouldn't have been running. But they had a chance to beat them if they would have just, if they'd have executed what they're capable of, they could have beat them.
So I'll go over the scoring recap here and kind of give my breakdown of it after that. Kentucky, they opened the scoring with short field. Seth McGowan, 9-yard touchdown run, put Kentucky up 7-0. Ty Bryant got an interception to set up that UK scoring chance. In the second quarter, Kentucky, 10-0 lead after a field goal. After Ty Bryant's second interception of the game, give Kentucky a good field position. They couldn't punch it in, but slow start for Ole Miss. 2 early Austin Simmons interceptions. But then Lane Kiffin on 4th and 1 from his own 44, down 10. Dialed up a play-action deep shot, and Simmons found Wallace for 55 yards down to the 1, and Lacey finished it with a 1-yard run. That changed the momentum right there, Gordon, for the game. Right there, if Kentucky stops them at Ole Miss's old 44, Kentucky's got the ball at Ole Miss's 44 right there with a chance to either go up 17-0 or, 13-0. And then the whole complexion of the game changes at that point in time. Momentum's all on Kentucky's side. But once they give up that play right there on 4th and 1, it all swings to Ole Miss's side, and Ole Miss never really gave it back to Kentucky.
Yeah, once they hit that, the confidence kind of creeped in, saying, "Yeah, we can come back. We can still beat them," because Kentucky's been a lot of teams' bugaboo, slowed them down. They're a bad matchup for a lot of teams in the SEC. Yeah. Even Kirby Smart said it whenever Georgia was like all dominant. Kentucky, you better be ready for a 10-round fight when you go to play Kentucky.
Yeah, and Kentucky, they hung in for the whole game, but the very next drive Kentucky had on offense, they went 3 and out. So, I mean, and that momentum just kept swinging back Ole Miss's way, and that's what happens. You get a momentum play like that, and it changes the whole complexion of the game right there. I believe if Kentucky would have stopped them there, I believe Kentucky wins this ball game.
Yeah, that's one of the plays I was talking about. I didn't see it, but I saw it on my Gamecast. I looked. I said, what in the hell did they do? And you just told me, so I didn't know it was a play action pass. I knew it was on 4th and 1, but it was all. Of course, now you watched the game on that play. Did the defense look completely out of position, or was it just a good pass?
I think they were expecting the run. They were 4th and 1, just pick up the run, and instead they go for the play down the field to, just complete. It's kind of like what Kentucky did to Ole Miss last year. Kentucky had 4th and 7, their own territory, and instead of punting the ball, Mark Stoops goes for it, and Vandergriff hits Barry and Brown for a 63-yard gain to get him down into Ole Miss territory, and Kentucky ends up taking the momentum in that one and winning. This was kind of like that, only a lot earlier in the game. Ole Miss kind of flipped the script on Kentucky and just kind of never looked back after that. But I think they were looking for the run there just for the other plans.
It's pretty good. I don't like it, but at least it wasn't that he got beat. It was just out of position. He was looking for the run.
Yeah. And then the next drive after Kentucky goes 3 and out, Ole Miss scores another touchdown, making it 14-10. Kentucky comes down, gets a field goal. Then Ole Miss gets one before the half, making it 17-13 before the half. So you're still in the game at this point, right? Still got a shot at it. Your offense isn't doing a whole lot. Wide receivers aren't making a whole lot of plays, but the quarterback's not playing good either. Now, there was one point in time, and this is some disorganization has been going on with Mark Stoops on offense for a long time. I don't know if I sent this to you or if you saw it on social media or anything, Gordon, but did you see the gif of Zach Calzada, where he's looking over to the sidelines? They're trying to get a play in, I guess,
No.
and he says, "What the F are we doing?" Right during the middle of the game. And
No,
it's
I
like,
didn't see that.
It's like, okay, so what is going on here? Like, who's like this organization? Get on the same page. It takes them forever to get a play called and to get out there and to go. And then when he looks over and is like, all right, we've already called the play, and we're looking around, and he's asking that right there, and it's like, what is going on here? Like, who's this? Is this the quarterback? Is this the coordinator? Is it the head coach? Because that's not a good look on national TV against a ranked team at home to be wondering what we're doing. What are we doing?
That's on the coordinator. I don't think Mark Stoops, he's a defensive coach. That doesn't sound like would be his thing. If a defensive, like a linebacker, would look over and it's like, what are we doing? Then I would probably say Stoops. I think it's either just miscommunication or just the quarterback just looking at the offensive coordinator saying, that's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but it wasn't a good look at all for Kentucky, and it just kind of summed up the whole offensive experience so far this year. So in the third quarter, Ole Miss, they come out and they get a field goal. They go up 20-13. And Kentucky responds with a 75-yard drive finished off by McGowan's second touchdown of the game, tying it at 20 and getting the crowd back into it. Right there, you're tied at 20. Defense needs to step up, make a stop, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. Ole Miss comes down and a pass from Simmons to Bruckler, and then Simmons gets a 7-yard touchdown run, giving Ole Miss a 27-20 lead. Kentucky got the ball deep into Ole Miss territory, but they failed to finish some drives, penalties, sacks, all kinds of stuff. And then, so they end up hitting a field goal at the end of the game to make it 30-23. In that time, though, Zach Calzada hurts his shoulder, and they bring in Cutter Bowley to come in. That's who we're looking for quarterback. That's who I was wanting to have as quarterback, was Cutter Bowley. So they bring him in. He completes a 38-yard pass to Harley Gilmore, right off the bat. And then they run a draw play on 3rd and 9. What are we doing? Why are we running a draw play on 3rd and 9 with a quarterback when you're down 10? What is that?
That would have been more of a looking over sideline saying, what the hell are we doing? That makes no sense. I mean, that's worse than calling a screenplay on 3rd and 7. You know what I mean? I mean, worse.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but Kentucky had a chance, 8 seconds left. They onside kick it, and Ole Miss gets it and seals the victory, 30-23. Ole Miss outgained Kentucky 455-359. Kentucky time of possession. Kentucky had it 32 minutes to 27. Calzada went 15 for 30 for 149 yards. Simmons, 13 for 24, 235 yards. 2 interceptions thrown. Seth McGowan had 93 yards on the ground. Lacey for Ole Miss had 138. So Saturday, we'll talk about it after a while, but Calzada is out. So they're going to go with Cutter Bowley to start for Kentucky. So we'll get into that after a while, but man, just a disappointment all the way around for Kentucky this Saturday against Ole Miss. And you had your chances, and you blew it. That's all you could say.
Yeah, if you hadn't said that, because I hadn't looked at the stats yet, saying they gave up 130-some yards to a running back in a game, especially Ole Miss, because they're mainly a passing game team. That's bad. That's sad. They shouldn't have gave up that much, but they got a lot of bites at the apple, too. When you can't sustain drives, you're giving the ball back to the other team with a lot of time left.
Yeah. And Kentucky's offense, it wasn't just the confusion by the quarterback and maybe the offensive coordinator, but in the first half, Kentucky had burned all 3 of their timeouts early in the first half because there was breakdowns in the communication. They couldn't get plays in. They were trying to avoid penalties, which cost them in the end because they had to kick a field goal at the end of the half. If they had their 3 timeouts, they could have used a little time to get down the field to maybe get a touchdown before the half. But when you don't have any time, you're just getting into field goal range. What else do you do, man? You can't burn all them timeouts you got. You can't burn timeouts trying to avoid penalties on things that should already be cleaned up.
Now that's on the coach. That's 100% on the coach.
Now, after the game, Stoops kind of was a little bit of a critic of the lack of execution, and he said that he wants to see more of Cutter Bowley moving forward, which is like, whoa, okay. So if Cutter comes in and Cutter's not cutting it, you can't go back to Calzada at that point because you've pretty much lost him. You've openly said right now that you want to see more Cutter Bowley, and that's dismissing your other quarterback. So he hasn't been too impressive, but you also don't want to lose him just in case you're in the SEC. Somebody's going to get injured. You're going to need both quarterbacks just in case. So it's interesting that he said he wants to see Cutter.
No, it's not smart. They should have addressed it more like, we're going to set him out next week, let him rest during, basically an end around off week, playing Long Island. Still can't believe they got a football team. That was more like, just telling him, saying, no, you're still a starter. We're just giving you a week off just to let you heal up a little bit. I'm going to come up with something.
Yeah, because next week they do have a bye, so that would give him 2 weeks, and it'd be like, even if you do want to see Cutter, don't say it out loud to where your other quarterback's going to hear it. Like you said,
yeah,
you make up an excuse. It's okay. Coaches lie all the time. Why not lie one more time, right?
Ain't going to change nothing.
So Kentucky, they won the turnover battle, but they capitalized. They got 1 touchdown and a field goal out of it, but they ultimately couldn't win the game. So Lane Kiffin said it's always hard to play at Kentucky. It's always a tough game. Like you said, there are a lot of teams' bugaboos. Stoops said that he loved the team's fight that they had. It's early in the year. He said they'll scrap, they'll improve. The offense has got to get straightened out, and hopefully Cutter can give them that injection of life. The running backs have been good. I mean, McGowan and Dowdell have played really good. So hopefully they can get back on track with the other offense there.
Like I said, though, if they can have just somewhat consistent quarterback play, they can be a 9-3 team. But what I've seen so far in the first 2 weeks, if it doesn't get any better, I don't think they'll make that. They've got to have consistent quarterback play to sustain drives.
And you got to have communication out there. Got to have the right play calls. There's a lot that goes into it that they're struggling with right now.
They dropped the ball last week bad.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
I wasn't going to bring that part up.
So that's enough of that game right now. Let's go talk about the number 1 team in the land, the Ohio State Buckeyes, as they take on the Grambling. What is Grambling's nickname? Do we know? Panthers?
Are they Wildcats?
Might be Wildcats. I don't know.
Panthers? Bobcats? No.
It's the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Grambling Gremlins we'll go with for now until we figure it out after a while. Ohio State entered as the number 2 team in the land for this is the first time since 2015 that they were in season, the number 1 team for 2 consecutive weeks. And they didn't disappoint, coming off of a 14-7 win at Texas. This is one of those tune-up games. You're going against live competition. Let's go out here and have fun. Let's get everybody involved. That's pretty much what happened. Grambling got $1 million for the beatdown, so that was fun for him. Gordon, you watched most of the game. I didn't watch much of this game. I didn't watch any of this game. I seen some highlights. How did you feel about this game right here? Obviously, it was during the Ole Miss Kentucky game. That's why I missed it. But, Gordon, what was your thoughts on the game?
Considering the competition, I was quite happy with the offensive production. Of course, we shut them out. I mean, we should have. We held Texas to 1 touchdown. You should probably hold most other teams to 1 or none. I mean, I know it's going to happen, but Jeremiah Smith had Julian Sayin, I think he was almost perfect. He threw a pick, which killed a parlay of mine. It wasn't no pick. It was about the score spread per quarters. I got them all but that one, the second quarter. Cardinal Tate had a good game. Jeremiah Smith had an amazing game. Sayin had, 4 touchdown passes in the first half. I think he had 2 in the first quarter, 2 in the second quarter, I think. The backup with Keen Holtz had a touchdown. Played very strong. Played really good. I like the effort on defense. That has to be probably the biggest takeaway, is that just because the competition went down a little bit, their effort didn't. They stayed, pursuing the ball, making plays, not being lazy or lackadaisical. Just kept right on going. I was quite impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, that's what you want in games like that, right? You just want to see your team go out, and if they're supposed to pound a team, you want to see them go out and pound the team, right? You don't want to see them mess around with them at all.
Yeah, don't give them hope.
Don't give them hope. So I'm gonna go over. I'll go over the scoring and just sit tight because this is going to take a while. The tone was set immediately with Julian just saying the second start. Ohio State 6 plays, 83-yard march with a 47-yard touchdown to tight end. What's this guy's name? Gordon.
I don't have my. I think it's Kaczmarek. I think he was at Purdue last year. Kaczmarek or something like that. Yeah. What you said worked. I mean, I can't pronounce his name either. But I think he was at Purdue last year. I think he transferred. Yeah. I think he was all Big Ten from Purdue last year, and he transferred to Ohio State. I think that's the one they was talking about that did it. He's a good tight end. He runs good. He's one of them faster tight ends.
Oh, gotta love technical difficulty. So, all right. So the transfer from, you said he went to Purdue last year.
I think it's Purdue. I think. We had one that transferred, but I'm almost positive it was Purdue.
And then Ohio State scored touchdowns on 8 of their first 9 possessions and didn't punt until the fourth quarter. Sayin had an 87-yard bomb to Jeremiah Smith. It says it's the longest completion in Ohio State history. Is that or Ohio Stadium history? Is that right?
I'd say so because because a lot of times we got the ball. We had good kick returners. A lot of times we got the ball from, we marched down the field. That's the first time I think I've ever seen it where the ball was caught like on the 30 because we down in deep in our own end, and Jeremiah Smith just blew past one person, just kept running and was outrunning everybody down the field.
So
I think it was like a 15-yard pass that went for 87 yards.
5 Buckeye scoring drives in the first 2 quarters, including 18 of 19 passing for 306 yards and 4 touchdowns from Sayin, all before the half.
Yeah, and like I said, that one pick that he threw killed one of my parlays.
Oh, yeah. That's I was going to bring that up here in a second. On the very first play of the second half, Pettijohn, is that right? Scooped up a fumble and ran it for 23 yards.
I think he's a redshirt freshman linebacker.
And so, I mean, they weren't stopping. They weren't just keeping the foot off the gas there. They kept going. Then more explosive plays. Yeah. Bo Jackson gets in on the mix. Like you said, this Bo knows how to score as well.
Yeah, he knows the end zone.
Isaiah West, Sam Dixon, who's some more running backs that are just, way deep on the bench that got in and got some action. Yeah,
Isaiah West was on the team last year, and I think he didn't play because he had an injury that was season long. They talked about that. I'm thinking it was an Achilles or something like that. I'm not quite exactly sure. I don't want to say for sure, but he was on the team last year, but he didn't get a chance to play because of the injury.
And then backup quarterback come in, and he got a touchdown pass. Keenholz?
Lincoln Keyholes. Yeah.
So the stats, 70-0, 651 total yards for Ohio State, 166 for Grambling, 377 passing yards Ohio State, 274 rushing yards, 32 first downs, 1 turnover. They did have 1 turnover. Sayin threw a touchdown or threw an interception
in the end
zone. Bo Jackson had 108 yards rushing in this game in the touchdown.
Leading rusher.
And Jeremiah Smith?
He was the leading rusher of the day.
Jeremiah Smith, 119 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Just doing Jeremiah Smith things, right?
I think he only had 2 or 3 catches, wasn't it?
That one was for 87 yards. I think he said he had 5.
5, okay. But
still, I mean, that's a pretty good average. 19 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Sayin 1 bad pass the whole time. It was that pick. Smith, a bounce back. Yeah, go ahead.
So you can say, just saying, through 20 passes, not one of them touched the ground. No, Ohio State didn't catch all of them, but none of them touched the ground.
That's pretty good. I'd take that all day if I was the Buckeyes. Once again,
against this team.
Once again, this is one of those games. We didn't really preview it last week because it's Grambling, and what do we really say about that? But this is what you want to see against teams like that. You get your backup guys in, get reps, and let them have some fun. Let your guys have some fun in the first half. Get them out, keep them healthy for the next week, and roll on like that. And that's what they did. They rolled.
Oh yeah, it was a big wheel.
Yeah,
you could almost have Tina Turner out there singing the song.
Yeah, so it makes you think. they scored 14 last week against Texas, and people's like, oh, Ohio State's defense or offense. Well, they kind of was like, all right, look, we still got offense over here, guys. Look, we got offense. Texas defense is just really good.
Yeah, as long as we got number 4, we got offense.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Gordon, we're going to look at Kentucky, Eastern Michigan here in a little bit. Ohio State. The battle for Ohio. It's not.
No.
We'll preview those here in a little bit. And now, time for the new segment we debuted last week, and that is, all right, Gordon, go ahead with the first one you've got for me.
First one I got for you is in the NFL. I heard you and Gage talking about it on your previous show. Jackson Dart should be starting for New York Giants Sunday.
I'm no yelling with this one. I agree. He should be. No, wait. Yeah, he should be starting. I'm yelling at this. That's what I mean. I'm yelling with this. I'm agreeing. No, wait. It's no yell, isn't it? If I agree with you, it's no yell. Cut this part.
I can't
Cut
remember.
This part. All right. I agree with you. I think Jackson Dart should be starting because Russell Wilson, as I mentioned on the podcast yesterday, he is past his prime. He hasn't been anything since he left Seattle. He had 2 years in Denver where he didn't do nothing. He had a year in Pittsburgh last year where he didn't do nothing. Yeah, Pittsburgh made the playoffs, but he didn't look very good at all. You get him up there in New York, and like I told Gage last night, they've got some weapons up there. Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson. Tracy's not a bad running back. Give him a shot. Scatterbo's up there. Give him a shot. I think that they'll be a whole lot better. Brian Dabo wants to save his job. He's got to go with Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that's my opinion behind it is he needs to start. He should have been a starter from week 1. I know you said that, Russell Wilson ain't been nothing since he left Seattle. He hasn't been much of anything since a couple of years before he left Seattle. I mean, yeah, he still had a little juice, but not enough to do anything with, really. I mean, he played position better than me, but that's not saying a whole lot.
Yeah, that's not. But he's
Jackson Dart he doesn't have no mobility. He's behind a shaky line. Dart is actually your best option.
Yeah, that's probably the thing on offense that hurts the Giants most right now. It's their line. But if you can get somebody to be a little bit mobile back there, move around, you can find Neighbors. You can find Wan'Dale. You can make something out of that offense. And they got a great defensive line.
You can hit Tracy.
Yeah.
You can hit Tracy or Scatterbo out of the back. Or I'm sure they got a decent tight end. We'd never know because he can't get the ball.
Yeah. And so I'll go with my first one this week, and I'm going to go back to college real quick, and that is the South Florida Bulls are for real, and they are a playoff contender.
I'm actually going to agree with you on this. That didn't shock me last week. I've actually got them. I'm taking the points, but I've actually got them where Miami's not going to be able to cover. They're getting 16.5. So I'm taking the Bulls and the points. It wouldn't shock me if they beat them because they've actually been, even Nick Saban said it a few years back, they can play defense.
Yeah. Well,
so I don't think they'll beat Miami. I think they've got a good shot to, but like I said, I've got the Bulls and the points.
Yeah,
on wager.
That last week against Florida, Florida's got a rough schedule coming up, so they needed that game. But South Florida was no pushover at all. They beat Boise State in week 1, who was ranked. Now they beat Florida, who's ranked. They've got Miami. South Florida, it's early, but like you said, a couple of years ago, I think it was like 17-14, them and Bama in a game, like Saban's next to last year. Give them all
and almost beat
them. Give them all they want and then some. So I think that if they may not beat Miami, they could cover, but they can win out. They can make the playoffs. They can get that group of 5 at large bid.
If they take out Miami, they can skate by and just barely beat the rest of the teams on their schedule, and they're in because that'd be 3 ranked opponents in a row.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's mine right there. South Florida is impressive so far. Now,
actually, if they play this one close and win the rest of their games, I think they're still in.
Yeah, unless one of the teams goes undefeated, but I don't see. I mean, they'd have a really good argument right there. South Florida would to be that group of 5.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, they've already got one.
Yeah. So your next one, Gordon.
Okay, 2-parter. Okay, did on the Heisman rebound, do you think Arch Manning did a rebound with his performance last week? Or is the favorite should be Castellanos, the Florida State University quarterback?
So far, after 2 weeks of the season, Arch Manning had a good game last week. I mean, bounced back. He bounced back pretty decently, Castellanos has played really well the first 2 weeks of the season. Curious to see how he's going to play next week. But man, they poured it on last week when they played, and he played great. And you win against Bama, and then Bama goes out and they win 73-0 to make themselves look better. That makes Florida State look even better. So I think Castellanos right now would be up there in the Heisman conversation over Arch Manning as of right now. What do you think, Gordon?
I actually think he should be the favorite because what he did against, I know it's not the same Bama that was when Nick Saban was the head coach. I get that. But it's still 5-star players. And not only that, but he told them before the game that they can't stop him. And then he went back in there and backed it up. You have to get bonus points from voters if you go in there and say you're going to do something, then you turn around and do it. Yeah. He wasn't afraid to tell Bama, you can't stop me, because they couldn't.
Yeah. And that's why I think that he should be up there for that right now because of that. Because you go in, you talk smack, and you back it up, and then you come out the next week and you continue to back it up. Now, like I said, Arch played well last week. Of course, he wasn't going up against Ohio State's defense either, which, like I said, that's a tough task to ask anybody. I don't care who you are in your first game as a starting quarterback.
I'll agree with that. In my mind, Castellanos should be considered the favorite. I know it's early in the season. There's a couple other notables that I would put in there, but Castellanos so far should as the favorite, aside from Jeremiah Smith.
So, that wouldn't be a homer pick or anything, would it?
No, not really.
All right, so I'm going to go with my second one, and that is the Mike Gundy era at Oklahoma State should have been over with a long time ago, especially after what happened this past Saturday. Gordon?
Oh. I agree that when he, and come think about it, if you go back and look and you date whenever his season started going bad, was when he lost his defensive coordinator to Ohio State. I know they had a decent season a couple years ago when was it last year? Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was okay. Ole Gordon was their running back in past 3 years. No, it wasn't last year. Last year, Ole Gordon didn't have great years. The year before last, 2 years ago. But whenever he lost his defensive coordinator to the Ohio State, his teams weren't nearly as good. I mean, defensively or anything. So, yeah, I would say probably about 5 years ago, his coaching tenure should have been over with at that time.
And this is a case of, we talked about Castellanos talking smack and backing it up. This is a case of talking smack and getting smacked in the mouth over and over and over. He made a comment about Oregon paying, having a big payroll for their roster and everything. And Dan Lanning was like, all right, we'll show you. This is why we pay our roster so much. Maybe you should do the same. Yeah, I think it's over with for
that was, he experienced a thorough beatdown.
Yes.
And it was relentless.
Yeah, 69-3 against a Division FBS school. Like, what? A Power 4 school at that.
I don't know if you can classify Oklahoma State as a Power 4 school. I know they're in a conference for it, but...
Well, that's kind of like most of the Big 12 nowadays anyway. Their big team was Kansas.
Oh, yeah, all the good ones.
Arizona State, Kansas State, they both lost to teams they should have beat. Kansas lost. I mean, the Big 12 is obviously the weak.
Right now, it's down. Actually, right now, with the way everything's looking, I think Kansas is actually the best team in the Big 12. Ain't that weird?
That is really weird.
No, SMU's in the Big 12.
SMU isn't. No.
SMU's in the ACC. Okay, well then Kansas is the best team in the Big 12.
I know. It's weird for me, too, to say SMU's in the ACC. I'm like, wait, what? They're in, like, Big 12 country. I'm like, nope, it's ACC. Okay. California's also in the ACC.
I know. Well, USC, UCLA, and Oregon's all in the Big 10.
Yeah, Washington. College football realignment. Makes a lot of sense geographically.
Absolutely none.
So, Gordon, your next one?
In college football, almost like the same question you have, is Dabo too old school for the new college football?
Yes, I'm yelling with you on this one right here. Dabo is too old school. He doesn't want to change the ways. You have to evolve in this game right here, especially at time of NIL and everything. And I know that he wanted to have his program in the name, image, and likeness of the Lord, which is all fine and dandy. But I don't think that's going to help any with getting players there. They want to get paid, money. So, yeah, I think he's too old school for this new age right here.
I agree, and I think this weekend, if I did my math correctly, he's going to experience it again. Georgia Tech is going to take them. I know Clemson's going to Atlanta, or where I think they play in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Georgia Tech. Anyways, but Georgia Tech's going. Tech, I think, is going to upset them straight up.
It would not surprise me at all. Since the NIL has started, Dabo has went downhill really quick, and the expectations are still there at Clemson, and people's giving them hype and everything, but every time they get into a big game, they get beat.
LSU smacked them around.
Yep.
So, yes, at Death Valley Jr.
Yeah, or as Booger said the other day on ESPN, the fake Death Valley.
Yes. Well, LSU people can say that right now because
they beat them.
They just got smacked around in their house.
So the next one I've got is, now this is kind of off the beaten path a little bit, but the Oklahoma Sooners are a college football playoff contender as well, with Mateer as the quarterback back there.
They're in the SEC, right? Yep. I think they're close. So I'm going to kind of give you a no yell, but I'm not so far over the fence that I'm not with you. I'm just kind of on the other side. I have them winning 8, but I don't know if that's enough. I see them at 8-4. I don't think they'll be, who did they play last week?
Michigan.
They played Michigan. Yeah. Or Michigan. Yeah. Sorry. I mispronounced their name. And they won, but not real big. I don't see them beating Georgia. I don't see them beating Tennessee. I know that's kind of like your Michigan, but
Tennessee.
I don't see them beating them. They got too good of an offense, and I like their head coach. I think he has an interesting game plan that gives a lot of teams trouble.
Plus,
not mine in the playoffs.
Plus, he played for Oklahoma, so he's going to have that extra motivation anytime he plays Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, he wanted to be their head coach, and they passed on him. There's another one. If Tennessee's defense is slightly improved, they won't beat them. So, and try to think. Actually, I don't know who I would take between them and Bama. If Bama's irritated, I don't think they can beat them. If they come in like they did when week 1, then they're going to walk all over them. It's kind of a toss-up. That's kind of like I'm kind of like on the fence. I'm not sure, but I'm kind of going to go against it. I'm not saying they can't make it. I'm just saying it's going to be like last-second entry.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think they're going to be like a top 4 team, get a bye or anything like that. I think that they could sneak their way into being like an 11 seed or something and getting into the playoffs.
10 or 11.
Because the defense – Venables has got them playing pretty well on defense this year. I know they played Michigan last week, true freshman quarterback and all that. Michigan's a little bit overrated, but I mean, still, that's a Power 5 school, and you shut them down pretty good, So I think that they can. Oh, yeah. I think they could sneak into the play.
The highest I think they can get is 10, but I said though it's the Bama game that I'm kind of tossing around in my head. So as of right now, if you bring it up later, I may change my mind. But right now, I'm going to go with a no yell.
All right. So your next one?
I have another upset in college football. Vandy upset South Carolina.
Oh man, this one's tough right here because I don't want to believe the Diego Pavia hype. But last week against Virginia Tech, and I'm hoping it's just Virginia Tech's that horrible. But both these teams played Virginia Tech, and Vandy beat down Virginia Tech, especially in that second half. And South Carolina kind of struggled with Virginia Tech for most of the game until the fourth quarter. I'm gonna yell with you on this one. I think Vandy probably pulls off that upset against South Carolina. But man, I'm hoping it's not because I don't know. I want to beat Vandy this year for Kentucky, and I feel like if they get rolling on some momentum, look out because they're confident. They're a confident bunch. Diego Pavia is a very confident quarterback. Just listen to him. He'll let you know.
Yeah, he's got I think that's the reason why I kind of got him upset because he's got that certain level of arrogance about his play, and that's a level of confidence you have to play to be a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, in college football, not the NFL. Yeah. It's got to be higher for the National Football League. And I think this is in Nashville, isn't it?
I believe so. I think it is.
So it's home field. Plus, they're coming off that win, and they've done that before. They beat Bama, and they learned from that because they beat Bama, then lost the next week. So they kind of, know what it's like to have a good win, and then come back to play it out. And South Carolina is better than the team they played before. So hopefully they won't party too long and have to catch up on their studies and be tired when they come into the game.
Yeah, they didn't party too much last week after the Virginia Tech game like they did the Alabama one, so it should be all right. But I'm going to go with you with this one. I think Vandy can do it. So my next one, I'm going to go to the NFL, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. The Chiefs aren't winning the AFC West this season. Not the AFC, but the West. They're not winning the West this year.
You know how hard it is to go against that guy?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, as far as on a future thing.
Oh, I know.
With the struggles. And on your one earlier, you talked about fantasy players that are injured. Xavier Worthy's on my team.
Man, been perfect to bring you on for that part because Gage didn't have anybody.
He's the only one.
Thanks you, Travis Kelce, right?
So, yeah. He said he didn't mean to do it, but he says, I take the blame for it. He goes, I've been in the league 13 years. He goes, I know better. I know to watch. I said, yeah, you do.
Well,
okay. Anyways,
I give my conspiracy theory on that on the podcast, so check that one out if you want to hear my thoughts.
And I kind of agreed that with you because I did watch it, but I'm going to agree with you. I don't think they will either. Actually, I think the one of the teams that was on my last week, the Chargers, I think they're going to win the AFC West this year.
That's who I'm thinking too. I would have said the Broncos would probably give them a better shot at the beginning of the year, but after last week, the Chargers got me believing. Now, you know how it is about believing in the Chargers. They're going to let you down eventually, but I think they can win the West.
I don't think they're going much of anywhere in the playoffs, but I think they'll win the AFC West.
All right, Gordon, so your last one for yell or no yell for the week?
I don't think Bama will not cover against the Wisconsin Badgers.
Where's this game played at?
I don't know. Can't remember.
Man, I'm going to say...
I don't know. I don't think it's... I was just looking at it, and I was like, the point spread was too high. So I think the point spread's too high, and I don't really think it matters where they play at. Wisconsin's a running team.
Back. I think Alabama... I'm with you. It's at Alabama. They're a 20.5-point favorite. Give me Wisconsin in this one, too. I'm with you. I think that Bama won't cover in this one, and Wisconsin will give them a pretty tight game for most of it.
Yeah, I think it was... When I looked at it before, I think it was 21.5. So if you're seeing 20.5, it means it changed. The line changed a point.
People were betting them.
But still, that's too many points. But it's being played at Camp Randall.
It's at Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. But I don't think it matters. It's a run game. It's not passing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Badgers has always got a good run game. Well, at least mediocre.
Decent for, Wisconsin, I guess. So my last one here I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
We're going to go with everybody's all about J.J. McCarthy after last Monday night in his second half performance. I still don't think he's good enough to lead an NFL team into the playoffs.
Going to agree with you. The only thing that saved his butt last Sunday night, was J.J. And
not McCarthy.
Not the one behind center. The guy he's throwing to.
I agree. And I don't think he's consistent enough to find it.
Got him started. No, not even close. Jefferson saved him quite a few times. That one throw was terrible in the double coverage, almost triple. If it had been anybody other than Jefferson, that ball would either been dropped or picked. Okay, as far as outcome, I think Kentucky will win and cover, and I think they'll cover comfortably. I think you could probably move the line to 35 or 34.5 and be okay and be safe. I'm saying Cutter Bowley, 225 passing yards, because he'll come out. He'll be out at halftime or at least by the middle of the third quarter. And then, if Cutter is sitting there playing good, then you said, well, we can't change now. We can't go away from the hot hands after last week.